Okay, March 22nd. Here at the garden, everything's going well. So our Sungold went ahead and put in a second stake to accommodate a few extra branches. So it's got, this is the main stake, and then a secondary stake, and that's just because I'm going to let a lot of branches grow up. I'm not going to prune quite as much. I figure I can put probably 3 branches per stake, you know, kind of clump them up. Here in Texas where it's really hot, bunching up a couple of stems gives you some coverage, leaf coverage, so that your tomatoes don't get sun scald. So that's what we've done there. Everything's coming along pretty well. We've had a lot of wet weather, not a lot of sun, very cloudy. We've had blossoms for ages, and you know, while some of them have turned, you know, Sungold, you can see we've got tomatoes here, you know, coming on, a few extra groups coming on. Not all the tomatoes have really come on much. Here's a Bear Creek. You can see under there, there's a couple of tomatoes just starting to come out. You can hardly see them. And the flowers have been there for a long time. That's pretty common. You know, here's one that started a little later, the Rose de Berne. Lots of good flowers. They look good. You know, no tomatoes forming though. We've got a second set that's up here, but you know, no tomatoes have really set. The Federle, which are the paste tomatoes I'm growing, I've got 2 of these. They, you know, they look like hell. They're wispy and weak looking. The tops just, you know, they're floppy, and the tomatoes have come, the blossoms have come on here, but you can see they're barely opened when many of the other tomatoes have already taken off a bit further. These are barely opening that first set. Lillians yellow, it's good. It's a little shorter than a lot of the tomatoes here in the garden, but you know, it's looking good. Lucky Cross. This one doesn't have a lot of flowers. It's got a couple. Still waiting to see kind of, that one right there might be pollinated. Can't see a tomato yet. We're waiting to see what's going to happen there. It's got a second set. Blossoms coming in, so it looks okay. Here's our black Krim. You know, we know we like this one. Grown this in the past. It's got blossoms there, blossoms there. The original set of blossoms are down a little lower. There they are. Here you can even see what appears to be a little bitty tomato about to start, but it hasn't grown at all. It's been that way for a couple of days. Ron's Carbon, you know, is a cherry, and there's a couple of tomatoes that are forming with some buds. And Ginny's, we had some buds come on here that I thought were pollinated, and you can see they fell off. They dropped. They didn't make. There's 2 more. Is that one pollinated? Maybe, can't tell. This one maybe. There's another set of blossoms that have appeared further up. There's some more blossoms about to come on here and here. So no fruits yet, but it looks good. This is a Terracotta Thornburn. That one is a new one to us, and you know, I'm pleased with the growth so far. It's a healthy plant. It's got blossoms here, blossoms there, new blossoms kind of coming in there. When we go down to the early sets, you know, you could see a little tomato there, a little tomato there. You know, it's got a few that are coming on. So this one's started pretty early. Okay, here is our Cherokee Purple. We love Cherokee Purples. They're delicious. They're quite productive, quite early. They're quite hardy. You know, everything about this tomato plant we like. And I know lots of people do. They're, you know, very popular. This year, no exception. You know, blossoms here. Got some blossoms starting there on another branch. Our original set, I mean, furthest along of any of the tomatoes. You can see we got a nice tomato there. Another one behind it. A number of blossoms. I think we've got 3 or 4 that have set, so that's great. Paul Robeson, one of our, you know, not every year, but some of our favorite tomatoes have been Paul Robeson's. Just absolutely delicious. This is one that I always hope does well. Last year it did not. We got we had a bad batch, but you can see there's already a tomato on there. There's a couple. I see a couple that have formed. They're just very small. But the Paul Robeson's doing well. It's got blossoms. Here is our other Federle. You know, same, not great. You know, wispy, weak looking. There's our first kind of flowers, but no tomatoes to speak of yet. Green zebra. This is one we were excited about early on, in that the plant is really healthy, bigger than some of my green zebras in the past that have been a little slower to start. You know, really healthy stem, healthy plant. There's some flowers in there. They haven't done much yet in the way of forming fruit. I hope they will. Here's some more. So it's got a few blossoms, not crazy, but we have not seen the first kind of fruit form off of those blossoms yet. So it's a little slow to form those first fruit. Hopefully they pollinated. And then here is lastly our Brandywine. This is a Cowlix Brandywine wine. We've tried to grow this in the past. We've gotten bad seeds that either didn't take or stunted plants. We went to a new supplier this year. They were slow to grow, but ultimately they did germinate. They did take off enough for us to go ahead and put one in the garden. So we're really hopeful. We've got a decent Brandywine Cowlick to try this year to compare to some of those pink Brandywines we've grown in the past. It's behind the other plants. It started later. And you know, its production to this point has been a couple of buds, no tomatoes to speak of yet. I don't actually think we have a second set of flowers that have even popped up, although there's right there, they're just starting. Those are a ways off. So this one's a little behind, but we do have some flowers that hopefully will pollinate and give us some early fruit. So there's the garden, March 22nd.